No, I've seen him, and then as I was looking around, I didn't touch him because that could put me in that case.
A 12-year-old boy was walking home through a Birmingham park on a cold January afternoon. It was a route he had taken before, a route his family believed was safe. But somewhere along that path, another teenager was waiting. Within minutes, the peaceful atmosphere of Shire Country Park would be shattered by an act of violence that shocked the nation. As officers rushed to the scene, witnesses gave conflicting accounts of what had happened, and standing nearby was a 14-year-old boy who appeared calm and cooperative. He claimed he had simply found the injured child. To everyone around him, he looked like a witness. But hidden within surveillance footage, witness statements, and forensic evidence was a very different story. This is the case of Leo Ross and Kian Moulton. January 21st, 2025 started like any other school day in Birmingham, England. 12-year-old Leo Ross attended school and later began the journey home. For countless children, the walk home from school is routine. Parents expect their children to arrive home safely. Friends say goodbye and head in different directions. But somewhere along Leo's route, a 14-year-old boy named Kian Moulton crossed paths with him. According to investigators, there was no meaningful relationship between the two. There was no long-running feud, no known dispute, no evidence suggesting Leo had done anything to provoke an attack. Yet within moments, violence erupted. Leo was stabbed in the stomach. The injuries were catastrophic. Emergency responders rushed to help. But despite medical efforts, Leo would later die from his injuries. The community was devastated. Parents across Birmingham struggled to understand how a child could be attacked while simply walking home, and police immediately launched a murder investigation. But the most shocking part of the story was still to come. As officers arrived and began trying to understand what had happened, they encountered a teenager nearby. That teenager was Kian Moulton. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Investigators often speak with witnesses at crime scenes, people who saw something, people who heard something, people who might help identify a suspect. Kian appeared willing to talk. He told officers he had come across the injured boy. He presented himself as someone who had merely discovered the scene. To the officers speaking with him, he looked like a possible witness. But what nobody knew at that moment was that investigators were already beginning to collect evidence from multiple sources, and that evidence would soon tell a very different story.
I was probably here around about 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I just come out every now and then ride my bike. I was riding because there's the mechanic shop up there.
Okay.
I was going to come through here because that leads that way, that is. But I seen him, and then I seen this woman, she was walking down, so I told her to call you guys. Yeah, so I told her to call you guys. Then I went to get some help from different people, and that's all I know about it. He was laid there like that when I got here, and that's all I know about it.
So you've not seen anyone near him, or you've seen him laying there, has he? Okay. Okay, can I just take your name? So just to confirm, you've been riding along here around 3-ish?
Yeah.
Was it 3 bang on, or was it after 3? Because it's now...
Can't really remember, but it was around the 3.
Near to 4. Okay. You've then seen the lady in...
Female.
Okay.
No, I've seen him, and then as I was looking around, I didn't touch him because that could put me in that case.
Okay.
But I was seeing her, she was walking there.
Yeah.
So then, yes, so I came and told her to call the police, and then I went and got him, and then him.
Okay.
One of the biggest mistakes criminals make is believing that if they sound convincing, they can control the narrative. But modern investigations rarely depend on one person's version of events. Police examine surveillance footage, witness statements, physical evidence, digital evidence, timelines. Every detail matters.
He drove past here apparently and seen him on the floor stabbed. That's what he told me anyway. But I just didn't understand why he said to me, when the police come, I've got to go.
As detectives continued investigating Leo's murder, they started comparing Kian's statements against the evidence, and problems quickly emerged. The timeline wasn't matching, his explanation wasn't matching, and investigators soon realized they weren't dealing with a witness. They were dealing with a suspect. The more evidence they collected, the more obvious it became that Kian knew far more than he was admitting. Then came the discovery that would destroy his story completely: video footage. With the evidence continuing to grow, police moved forward with the case.
Hello, the police. Where is he? Whereabouts is he, mate? Come here.
What for?
Put your hands out, you're under arrest.
Dad, it's on my PlayStation on.
I'm gonna pat you down on here, mate, okay? Good.
You've been arrested for murder.
Big offence, mate, that is. And your reaction to that is a
I'm not
smile.
saying it's funny, am I? I'm just not allowed to smile.
Someone's died, haven't they? It's not funny.
Stop moving him. Stick your finger up, you go what you want. You're mature, are you?
Maybe. Oh, by the way, the clothes I was wearing earlier
Yeah.
have changed.
So we're not going to get anything off those clothes.
Okay.
Even in the ones in my room, you ain't gonna get nothing on it. Off them because I ain't done nothing.
What's he been arrested for? He was arrested for murder. When getting arrested for the murder, he started smiling. He stated, "You won't get nothing off these clothes."
And I also said you ain't gonna get nothing off that because I ain't done nothing.
The investigation revealed that Leo had been targeted in what appeared to be a random act of violence. That detail horrified the public. Because Kian was a juvenile, legal restrictions initially prevented the public from identifying him. This is common in many criminal justice systems. The goal is often to protect young offenders while legal proceedings are ongoing. But as the case progressed, judges later allowed him to be publicly named. The public could finally learn the identity of the teenager responsible for Leo's death. When sentencing arrived, the court examined the seriousness of the crime and the circumstances surrounding it. The judge ultimately imposed a life sentence with a minimum term that must be served before parole can even be considered. For Leo's family, however, no sentence could truly provide closure. A prison sentence does not bring a child back. A court ruling cannot undo a family's loss, and no amount of time served can erase what happened that afternoon. It's easy for true crime stories to focus entirely on offenders, but the most important person in this case was Leo Ross. Friends and family described him as kind. They described him as caring, a child with a future ahead of him, a child who should have been able to walk home safely. Instead, his life was taken before he had the opportunity to grow up, before he could graduate, before he could build a career, before he could experience adulthood. And that's the tragedy at the center of this case.